Cindy, thank you so much for your time this evening. We're here celebrating the life of Aaron Swartz. It was a very moving evening with the speeches that we had and the hackathon that's taking place. But I wanted to understand, from Electronic Frontiers Foundation's perspective, what are the battles that are being pursued in terms of our ability to restore the faith in the Fourth Amendment and our First Amendment right of speech? What are you guys doing to protect us against the NSA and its...
Well, we have been since 2006 suing to stop the NSA spying, including allegations of phone records collection and the upstream collection from our fiber optic cables at the AT&T facility here in San Francisco. The revelations from that Mr. Snowden brought forward in June of this year confirmed what we've been suing over for so long and forced the government to admit that it's doing some of the things that we long know that they were doing. This is tremendously important. It means our lawsuits can really move past the state where we're fighting over what's secret and what's not secret to fighting over what's legal and what's not legal. And we have schedules. I was in court today on one of the cases. We have schedules in the two cases that we've brought that are set through the spring to bring these questions in front of the judge. We have two cases. One is focusing on the Section 215 program, which is the phone records collection program. And that's brought on behalf of 22 associations, ranging from the California Gun Owners Association to Greenpeace to People for the American Way to Normal, arguing that when the government collects your phone records, they're tracking your associations and that violates your First Amendment rights. And we have a case arising under Section 702, which is the massive collection of the fiber optic cables, and that's based on they both argue many things, but that one's really focused on the Fourth Amendment and the collection of your communications content and whether that's a general warrant in violation of the Fourth Amendment or not.
Now, is there bipartisan support for changing the way NSA conducts its business? It seems that they are very much in control and doing this in the dark, from politicians, from legislation, from even President Obama's own authority. And who is actually running the show at NSA? And at the end of the day, who are these people responsible to? Who do these guys answer to?
Well, it seems clear that all of the methods of oversight and checks and balances that are supposed to exist when the government's acting are not working on the NSA. They seem to, the judicial oversight is poor, the congressional oversight is basically poor, non-existent, and the executive oversight, well, people, if we're relying on self-reporting for problems, we're not going to catch everything. So I think it's clearly broken. There is bipartisan support for reform in Congress. We need to make it bigger, but we certainly have very strong voices on the right, including the chief proponent of the Patriot Act, Representative Sensenbrenner, who says he did not pass that law to allow mass spying, to Senator Ron Wyden, who should be everybody's hero on this issue, to Senator Udall from Colorado, who've been staunchly trying to bring this issue to the public for many, many years. So we have a pretty broad range of support, but we really need more. And most importantly, we need Senator Dianne Feinstein here in California to change her position on this. She's been a staunch supporter of the NSA. She's proposed a bill called the Feinstein-Rogers bill, which is a complete fake fix, pretends to be a fix to this and is not. And we need to stop that bill, and we need to support the work that Representative Sensenbrenner and Senator Wyden and Senator Leahy are doing to try to fix the law.
Well, it seems in Washington, nothing happens without financial support and backing of lobbyists. So in the case of SOPA, ACTA, Computer Fraud Abuse Act, the CFAA, the NDAA, the Patriot Act, who are some of the organizations and companies that are supporting these kinds of legislations year after year and trying to get them through the Congress? Who are these companies that are financing and lobbying on the behalf of taking away our rights to our Fourth Amendment?
Well, on the Fourth Amendment, on the copyright issues, of course, it's the content industry, it's the music industry and the movie industry for SOPA, for PIPA. For the Fourth Amendment, really, there is probably some defense industry lobbying, but it's hard to find. It's hard to track. It's hard to get sunlight into this. There is also probably some work on behalf of AT&T and Verizon. They certainly worked hard to pass the law to get themselves out of liability for turning over their customers' information to the government in 2008. For the CFAA, sadly, tech companies like Oracle are some of the main obstacles to change. And of course, law enforcement and the NSA, they're strong lobbies themselves, and they push hard in Congress. And especially in these national security situations, they use the secrecy to hide the efforts that they make to lobby for more power. And part of the thing that we have to fix here is we have to get rid of this culture and this cult of secrecy in our government with regard to our rights.
Well, Cindy, we're in the greatest city on earth, I think. Still San Francisco, Silicon Valley, home to innovation, tons of tech companies here. Now we got a few bad rotten apples among us. What would you like to see happen within the tech community in Silicon Valley in support of the work that EFF is doing? What do you want to see happen?
Well, certainly the legislative agenda is very clear. We need to fix the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. So many technology companies are based on innovators breaking rules and doing things without permission and creating cool new products for us. You go from Steve Jobs to, all the way through to Mark Zuckerberg. You find people who looked at the world in a different way, made technology work in a different way, and created great new products for us. Those companies need to stand up and help us fix the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. The tragedy of what happened to Aaron could have happened to any one of them. And if we really care about innovation, we need to protect our innovators, which means we need to fix the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. That should be a huge job for tech companies. The second thing tech companies need to do is they need to help us stop the spying. There can be no doubt that tech companies are the target of the NSA. The NSA attacked Google. They found a vulnerability in their system. They went in there and they built a tool. They built systems that would penetrate Google. When your own government is attacking you, it's time to stand up. It's time to grab the reins of democracy. And technology companies need to stop pretending like they're bystanders in this NSA spying fight. And they need to join us on our side to try to reform the law. And to fix it, and to stop cooperating when they're cooperating, and stand with those of us that want to restore the Constitution.
Well, thank you, Cindy. I wish you the best of luck.